Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفاه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Brothers and sisters, welcome to a new live edition of your program Ask Huda. Our phone numbers beginning with the area code are 002 011 2500 8679, and the other number is 0002 0100 246 4583, and the email addresses are ask@huda.tv, alternatively gardens@huda.tv. Don't forget my Facebook page is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. While we're waiting for your valuable calls and questions, I have some questions I'd like to answer. The first question is from Sister Maryam. Sister Maryam says, in our country we have conventional banks and also Islamic banks. If I go to a conventional bank and I ask for a loan, they will give me 12% interest. They will give me a loan with 12% interest. And if I go to an Islamic bank, they will give me with 24% interest, or she called it profit. Is this okay in Islam? I have been told it is Sharia compliant. Is this true? In fiqh they say الحكم على الشيء فرع عن تصوره. In order to give a verdict, in order to say this is legitimate, this is permissible or not permissible, you have to imagine it. And how would you imagine it when you don't have the contract? You know, mere saying, well, this is an Islamic bank or this is an Islamic business transaction does not mean anything. It's just a word of mouth. What really matters is the contract. And when you read between the lines, so if there is anything that's stated that when you take a loan, you'll have to pay the loan in addition to something extra, that is the exact riba. Riba al-fadl and riba al-nasa, both. So it is not about the rate, it is not about the percentage. Same thing when people put their money in an investment or a saving account which generates interest. In the conventional bank they say they give you 8%, and in the Islamic bank they give you 6%. Once the rate is already predetermined, that is riba. Right away that is interest, and it is prohibited. So if you want to read any contract on your own and find out whether it is Sharia compliant or not, it's very simple. Of course, I'm sharing with you my experience for working for the past couple decades at least in this field, whether the business transaction, whether the halal and the haram meet, and marriage and divorce issues. You know, it is not simply what people say, what they describe. It is the actual contract. Take for instance in the halal meat business. When people go to the same slaughterhouse of the local society, they don't have their own slaughterhouse, and they pick up the meat and they say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, will that make it lawful to consume? Will that really make it halal? Well, people go to the halal meat shops and they pay sometimes 1.5 times extra or double the price of the regular meat in Walmart, in HEB, or these grocery stores, because they assume it is halal. And once it happened in California, I asked the person who was very bragging that he provides the whole community with halal meat, and the community were under the impression that this person is providing them with halal meat. I said, and I was given a course of Usul al-Fiqh, principles of jurisprudence, and the questions were raised. I said, do you have your slaughterhouse? He said, no. I said, do you have a slaughter permit? He said, no. I said, do you slaughter by your own self, like in a ranch out of the city limit? No. I said, so what really makes your meat any different than anybody else's meat? What makes it halal? Is it because you say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? If this is the case, then I need to explain to you that is not sufficient. What matters is the process of slaughtering. Banking system, business transaction. What makes it halal and Sharia compliant? A very famous bank in America which says that it's an Islamic bank. More than 10 years ago, they wanted me to be their advisor and propagate their Sharia compliant transaction or business. I said, well, I will be more than happy, but I first have to read the contracts. It's not only one contract. And I have to know who's on your board, who's actually giving you the permit from the Sharia perspective. When you investigate the contracts, you find this is in clear violation of the Sharia. So it have nothing to do with Islamic banking system. When you say that they give me extra, more or less, it is not about changing the word interest and giving it another name, profit, that will make it halal. No. So please provide the contract so that we know exactly the manner, how do they deal, and we'll be more than happy to tell you whether it's halal or haram, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Abdul Kareem from the KSA.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Sister Abdul Kareem.
Alhamdulillah. I have two questions.
Now,
My first question is, can my 12-year-old and 13-year-old son, when I'm traveling a bit far, going to another country? And my second question is, my mother passed away recently, and while we show him a separate of Israel. And I was reading the process, continue to live for her for the 3 days of Ramadan. Really, this is a coma that is...
Sister Abdul Kareem. Sister Abdul Kareem. Sister Abdul Kareem, unfortunately I did not understand your questions because of the echo. The voice was not clear at all. I only figured out that your mother passed away. May Allah have mercy on her. But unfortunately, I won't be able, if I ask you to repeat the questions with the same echo, I will not be able to understand them. So we can provide the questions to the control and they will pass them to me, inshallah, during the break. Thank you, Sister Abdul Kareem. Sister Huda says, what do we do with the children who are not being dutiful to their parents, although we have given them the religious and the worldly education, but the surroundings are very evil, the peer pressure? There are a few things that have to be explained before I just give any judgment and I say, yeah, they are very undutiful or whatever. Number one, you pointed to the cause of the problem, which is the peer pressure. Many of us as Muslims, Muslim parents, choose deliberately to move to a non-Muslim society or work and live in a society where we know that the current is very extreme and the peer pressure is beyond resistance. This is for the elders as well as for the youngsters. But for the sake of living well off, having a good job and a great income, we sacrifice anything. So this is what you get. It's a package. You know, you make the money and you also, in many cases, you lose the children. For what? Because they were raised in a society where the peer pressure is very, very extreme. It's hard to resist. You have to keep in mind that our children spend at least 8 hours a day at school, in addition to a few hours extra due to school activities, you know, camping, Boy Scouts or sports. So basically, we don't get to spend with them an hour out of 10 or 12 hours that they spend at the school. We give them in entirely to this environment to shape their future. So when they come home, they know that we pray and we behave as Muslims, so they tend to please us. which I call it, they wear the mask, until we're surprised. It is no surprise to us, but to the parents who are acting like they don't know. At one point, they are surprised that the daughter who's wearing hijab at home does not actually wear hijab outside. Or the son or the daughter who are very keen to pray and read their sabaq at home, they don't even pray at home, and they have relationships and so on. It's hard just to blame the children for that, because it's a melting pot. It's a melting pot. You made the money, you got the residency, and you got this along with the wealth and the dunya. It's a package. So if the person have a choice to rescue his family and his children and even live an average life or below average, that should be given the precedence. I know that many of the viewers may not like what I'm saying, but because I have seen many people who made plenty of money, who have palaces, but their life has turned into hell, and they wish that they could have lost everything and they gain their children, or they have righteous children. So I'm just providing my humble opinion in the light of my humble experience. What I need to say is there are steps need to be taken, that if you have no choice and no alternative but to live in such society, then stick to the Islamic community, the Islamic schools. If not, then the weekend schools, Islamic schools, and befriend your children. Make dua all the time, in every sajda. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them and to save their deen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Salma from the USA. Sister Salma, assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. وجزاكم.
Sheikh, I have 3 questions, very short. In USA, the udhiyah, the sacrifice of animal is not done in the Islamic zabiha. Rather, they turn the animal and then slaughter it. The person does not know if the animal was actually live when he was slaughtered or not. Even where they say that they are sacrificing the Islamic way, we are not sure if it is done correctly. So can we send the money back home for udhiyah or slaughtering in a proper way, in an Islamic way, and distribute it among the poor people back home?
Okay.
My second question, Doctor, can we send our fidya of fasting, fitra, zakah, sadaqah back home where people are poor and suffering as compared to giving them in the Western countries? Because some ulama are saying that where you live, where you are residing, you should give it there.
Okay.
And my third question, Sheikh, is how the woman should do the itikaf. Should be done in Ramadan or can it be done any other time too? Jazakumullahu khairan, Sheikh.
وجزاكم. Thank you, Sister Salma. Barakallahu fiki. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Anjum from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh. How are you? Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Thank you so much. Same to you, sister. MashaAllah. Barakallahu fiki.
Sheikh, I've got a question. I work in a school as a doctor, and I have got a staff with me who are non-Muslims, like Hindus.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring the food from their festival, Diwali and something, and they offer us the food as well, Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
So are we supposed to eat or by courtesy, or we are supposed to refuse the food?
Okay, number one, is it like a religious festival?
Sorry, Sheikh, I don't get you. Please say again.
The festivals where they cook that particular food, are they religious festivals?
Yes, like Diwali, they make the sweets and they bring it.
Okay. Second,
Sweets.
any meat served?
No, not meat, like sweets.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sister. Barakallah fika. I will answer you, inshallah. Sister Salma from the United States of America, as far as the udhiyah, when they give the money to people to slaughter, they don't know whether they actually slaughter or not. So is it permissible, or is it better to send the udhiyah or money back home where you know for sure that people will buy and slaughter the sheep. Two things are involved here. Number one, if there is only one choice what I have to slaughter in this country, the sacrifice and distribute it among the poor where we have poor. If I give a trustworthy person who claim that we slaughter Islamically, then that's it. Alhamdulillah wa shukrullah, you're not responsible. You don't really have to go and investigate if this person is trustworthy and he does this all the time. Not every ordinary Muslim is required to go to the slaughterhouse or inspect the halal meat stores. You know, the leaders of the community or people who are in charge should do that every once in a while to confirm that everything is on the right track. The second thing which is involved, the permissibility of giving the udhiyah in another country. And it is also relating to your second question, which is transferring the zakah fund to another country. It is permissible, especially if in your locality they are well off, while the other locality, whether it's your back home country, your family members, or otherwise, are desperately in need. There is a famine, there is a drought, there is poverty in this Muslim country. It is permissible. It is only not permissible when you have poor people, poor Muslims in your locality, then you should begin by providing them and sufficing their needs. But in our case, sometimes I have people who come to me in the States and say, Sheikh, my zakah is 35 grands. I don't know what to do with it. I say, I don't know either. Because you don't have poor people in the community, you know. But you know, and your family members must know, if you're coming from a village, from a city, your neighbors, your relatives, your cousins, your nephews, your nieces, if any of them is poor, give them from the zakah, where you will receive double reward, the reward of giving the zakah, the charity, and the reward of upholding the ties of kinship. So in this case, it is permissible to transfer the zakah fund to a poorer country. More people who are in need must be given to Muslims though. And similarly the udhiyah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Rasmina from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have two questions.
No.
One question is, do we need to have wudu when we are reciting Quran from a mobile or iPads or computer, something like that? And my second question, is it okay to wear accessories on your hands when you are wearing abaya and etc.?
Okay.
That's my question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barakallahu fiki. Sister Salma, third question. I'tikaf, is it only during Ramadan? And by the way, can women do i'tikaf? Al-i'tikaf is a sunnah, which means to stay in the masjid with the intention of remaining as an act of worship, whether you're fasting or you're not. It is best, though, to be observed during Ramadan and while fasting. The Prophet ﷺ initially performed i'tikaf in the middle 10 days of Ramadan, then in the last 10 days of Ramadan, because he was searching for Laylatul Qadr, to be in worship and to be devoted entirely to worship while in i'tikaf in the masjid. Because in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah the Almighty says, وَلَا تُبَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. So even if the person is permitted to go home to use a bathroom, pick up his medication, he cannot approach his wife sexually because he's in a state of i'tikaf. He only left for a necessity to fulfill a basic need or something that is necessary. So this is the best i'tikaf in Ramadan, days and nights. Well, if you can perform it during the day, then when you get off work, you go to the masjid, because there is no minimum time that is determined for i'tikaf. Simply, if you enter the masjid to pray Isha and Taraweeh and you intend to be in i'tikaf during this 1 hour or two, that is i'tikaf and that is accepted, insha'Allah Azza Jal. After Ramadan, the Prophet ﷺ did, and some of his wives performed i'tikaf after Ramadan in the masjid. And al-i'tikaf must be performed only in al-masjid al-jami', not in any masjid. And if this is the case, then you cannot perform i'tikaf at home, as some people believe that women should do i'tikaf at home in their hujra or in their room. Well, the ayah is very clear. وَلَا تُبَاشِرُوهُنَّ وَأَنْتُمْ عَاكِفُونَ فِي الْمَسَاجِدِ. Why did I say al-Masjid al-Jami'? Because they offer the 5 daily prayers in congregation and the Jumu'ah. It is not permissible to perform i'tikaf in a musalla, for instance. Then you have to leave on Friday to pray in another masjid. And Jum from United Arab Emirates. The non-Muslims who give us food because of their religious celebrations, if this is something that offered or introduced in the name of any deity other than, of course, Allah, then I should not be eating out of it, particularly if it is meat, you know. But you said it is sweet. So knowing the nature of this celebration or festival would make me reluctant to eat from this dessert or this sweet during this festival or participating by any means in these celebrations. Besides that, as neighbors, as colleagues, as co-workers, we respect each other, we care for each other, we can exchange gifts, we visit each other. Whoever gets sick, the other will visit him. We exchange the condolence if anyone is hurt or received any injury or a family member died. But whenever it comes to religious practices, lakum dinukum waliya din. Sorry, because this is religious. Barakallahu fikum. Rasmina, okay, let's take this call first. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Muhammad from United Arab Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I am Muhammad from United Arab Emirates.
Welcome to the program, Muhammad. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask about this moon sighting in Ramadan. What is the difference in Gulf countries and Asian countries? I am originally from Sri Lanka. Why there are 2 days in Ramadan? In Gulf countries, they are always in 1 day before. We are always after second day. And even the Eid in Hajj time also in Arafah. There is Arafah in first day. We are not fasting on Arafah day. We are fasting Eid day.
I got your question, Muhammad. I got your question.
Why Rasulullah's hadith, it is saying anything individual to see the country-wide moon sighting, or you want to take the decision for whole Ummah all over the world, 1.2 billion Muslims all over the world. You want to follow that rule, or you want to follow individual countries' rule? We want to find it, because this is in future it will become very difficult, very big problem for us, everyone. Because everybody saying we saw the moon, they are saying not seen moon, and we all the size is the moon, but they are saying no. Everybody saying this is not true. We are everybody saying in Makkah, in Saudi Arabia, today is Eid or today is Ramadan, but they are not following that rule. What is the difference? This is.
Muhammad, I understand why you're very angry. I don't blame you, but don't you think that I'm not the right person to ask this question? I mean, when you say, why in Sri Lanka they don't fast with this country or that country and they fast 2 days later, I'm not the person to be asked this question. You may need to ask the Sri Lankan government, the Pakistani government, and the Bengali government, or the Indian government, right? As far as the whole Ummah, 1.6 billion Muslims, and why don't they fast together? Inshallah, the day will come. The day will come when this whole Ummah under one umbrella, which is known as Al-Khilafah. This word which scares the West so much, and actually scares many of the Muslim and Arabic rulers and leaders, because they think it will strip them off of their power. But believe it or not, I do believe it. The Prophet ﷺ prophesied, ثُمَّ تَكُونُ خِلَافَةُ الرَّاشِدَةِ عَلَى مِنْهَجِ النُّبُوَّةِ. There will be Khilafah, whether they like it or not. The privileges of the Khilafah, that this Ummah, this vast Ummah, will be ruled by one appointed ruler or elected ruler, who once, for instance, the decision is made that the moon was sighted in any Muslim country, that's it. All the Muslim lands and Muslims all over the world will get to begin fasting, because we would not have this politics. Well, this country is in an opposition or having an opposition or differences with the regime of another country. So they have to differ with them even in the beginning of fasting, not a day or two, sometimes several days. While the Christian, mashallah, is very big, but the government knows better. In any case, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us what is best. Now, as an individual, the fiqh question which may be presented to a person like me is, Ya Shaykh, what should we do as citizens of this country or that country? النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, صوموا لرؤيته وأفطروا لرؤيته. That's it. You should fast whenever you see the crescent. And you should break your fast whenever you see the crescent of Shawwal. So if this country says, oh no, Ramadan is not tomorrow, and the crescent was seen, those who saw it, they must fast. They cannot skip fasting. It is haram because they saw it. And those who have been told that there were trustworthy people who saw the crescent must fast as well. If it was not cited, and the country is a Muslim country and it has an authority, a grand mufti or whatever, and said that the crescent was not cited and accordingly Sha'ban is going to be 30 days, that's perfectly fine. We have to comply because the two opinions are valid, whether following each independent country's citation or whenever the moon is sighted in any Muslim soil, that all the Muslims should follow this citation. That is called either اختلاف المطالع. Each country, each locality has its own right to sight the moon, whether they see it or not, and they will decide based on that. And the other one is called اتحاد المطالع, which inshallah one day when we have this vast ummah be united under one umbrella. If the moon is sighted somewhere and the Muslim ruler would say tomorrow is Ramadan, that's it. We got to take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Imagine that the Anbiya, they were the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they had the hardest times.
He assumed that he had some kind of superiority and he was a better, more chosen, a better person because he had this wealth. And then you look at all the other people who had wealth, and some of them were the worst people. You had Fir'aun and
reviving your niyyah time and again, that you're doing insincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Most of the youth, they think, oh, I'm going to pray when I'm old, it's okay now, I'll have fun in my life. Later on I'll work, I'll go on my bed, I'll pray 5 times a day. And all these things, they think that's later on in their life, and they don't know when they will die.
Amira, who's your role model?
Khadija radiallahu anha.
And why?
Because she was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife, and she was the first lady to believe in Islam.
Let's start from where they started. Who are they? The companions of the Prophet ﷺ. When they started learning the religion of Islam, they started with the Aqidah, the belief system, faith. Brothers and sisters in Islam, dear viewers, the Prophet ﷺ spent 13 years in Mecca teaching that generation the belief system, the Aqidah. Aisha radiallahu anha confirms this by saying, the first things which were revealed from the Quran was matters of Aqidah. Who is Allah? Jannah, paradise and hell. Jundub ibn Abdullah al-Bajali, may Allah be pleased with him, said, we learn the belief system, we learn the Iman, we learn the Aqidah, then we learn the Quran, Brothers and sisters in Islam, nowadays, a lot of our cultural practices, a lot of our societal norms are against our belief system. And the reason why we're falling into this, because we did not start from where they started. Join me, Kareem Abu Zaid, twice a week on Huda TV screen with the new edition, Aqidah Matters. See you
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. We have a couple pending questions. Sister Rasmina from United Arab Emirates asked first about, is wudu required to recite Quran from smartphones and tablets? No, it is not required if you're talking about whether it is mandatory or not. But wudu is always recommended, whether for the recitation of the Quran by heart or for any adhkar. It is always good to maintain wudu. But the tablet, the smartphone, is not like the hard copy of the Quran. So if you are in the bus, in the train, in your car, and you don't have wudu, you still can flip the channels and scroll over in order to up or down in order to recite from your tablet. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Fatima from KSA.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How do you, I have one question, please.
Naam, please go ahead.
Actually, some children, they die at a young age, say 14 or 15.
No.
And as such, due to some disease or accident, and as such, see only a brief life in this world. Is there any reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for such children and young ones?
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, one more question. Last time I asked you about the accountable age. When a child is considered to be an adult and he's accountable for his deeds. And you described it in detail. Is there any age in figure 14, 15, when the child is considered to be an adult and his good and bad deeds are written?
Okay, thank you, Sister Fatima. The two questions are relating to each other. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Muhammad from the KSA, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh Salah. How are you, doctor?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Ramadan Mubarak, inshallah.
Barakallahu fiki. Same to you, sister.
I have two questions.
No.
If someone is traveling to a foreign country for a month, how long should he pray the Qasar prayer?
طيب.
And if he is staying there and in Ramadan, how he will pray the Taraweeh, since it is not a Muslim country?
Okay.
And
thank you,
that's
Sister
it,
Muhammad.
Doctor.
Barakallahu fiki. Accessories, rings, bracelets for women, and a sister is wearing a aba'a. Let's talk about the aba'a first, because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said and ordered the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam to tell his wives, his daughters, and all the Muslim women, yudnina alayhinna min jalabibihinna, to lower their jalabib, their garments from top to bottom, in order to be recognized as modest women and so on. ذلك أدنى أن يعرفنا فلا يؤذين, not to be annoyed. That is the hijab. And we sorted out before the difference of opinion concerning whether covering the face and the hands is included in the hijab of a woman or not. And we said there is a difference of opinion. So if you go by the view which says the face and the hands are not of the awrah of a woman, and now she is wearing a aba'ah showing the hands from the wrist. What happens is nowadays you see the aba'ah, the sleeves of the aba'ah of a female wide open and loose. They're not with cuffs. Okay? And accordingly, every time she makes a move, moves her hand up, right and left, the sleeves will roll down and it will show a part of the arm. It will show the skin. This part is awra. This part is awra whether in the prayer or outside the prayer. This is according to the easiest opinion, which does not mandate a woman to wear a veil to cover her face or to wear gloves to cover her hands. This part is awra. So you have to cover, you have to wear cuffs. And if you're wearing aba'ah with cuffs, in this case, that if you're wearing bracelets, it is covered. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the ayah of the hijab in Surah An-Nur, وَلَا يَضْرِبْنَ بِأَرْجُلِهِنَّ لِيُعْلَمَ مَا يُخْفِينَ مِنْ زِينَتِهِنَّ. Because women used to wear like bracelets in the hand, anklets, which when they walk and they stand with their feet, it will make that noise. So the wisdom behind the command not to stand with their feet, لِيُعْلَمَ مَا يُخْفِينَ مِنْ زِينَتِهِنَّ. The zina should be concealed, not exposed. And when they make that noise, they alert the audience and the people who are standing by to look at them and to look at their feet and to look at their bodies and their hands. It's a human instinct. You know, when you hear this noise, you look around. It happens when a woman is wearing high heels and is walking. Normally, the person would look to see where the sounds come from and who is walking. It's a human nature. It is not an indication that this person has hyperactive sexually or is sick. No, this is normal. Also, similarly, when a woman is wearing very attractive perfume, what happens? You find yourself going after the smell, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, hijab means to go out tafilat, very ordinary, very ordinary. So if you're wearing any accessories, in your wrist and it is covered, no problem. It is not making any noise, no problem. Similarly, if you're wearing a aba'ah which does not have any decoration, any glitter, any drawings, nowadays you see the aba'ah with the Arabic calligraphy. I'm a calligrapher by profession. And, it attracts any person to look at the Arabic calligraphy, especially the Diwani style. And the designer of the female clothes or fashions, they make all the designs on the chest area or in the rear area. That doesn't make any sense. That is not hijab. Al-hijab is وَلْيَخْرُجْنَ تَفِلَاتٍ. Barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Yunus from the USA. Naam, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam. Hello?
Brother Yunus, I hear you. Please proceed on.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sheikh?
Naam, I do.
Okay. Sheikh, I have two questions. I've been trying to reach out to you. It's been really hard, but alhamdulillah. So, the question number one is regarding my job. I'm living in New York City and I'm working in a high-end retail company. So most of my customers that I'm dealing with, they're women, and they come to the store. They are properly and dressed. It bothers me a lot whenever I try to lower my gaze. It's really hard for me to not see the way where they're dressed, and most of the time I have to compliment when they try shoes on or whatever. I have to compliment them, and I find that it's really I feel deep inside it's not right. And this is what I would like to know, if this is fine or not. And the second question is that most of the clients, which are women that I'm dealing with, that I have to sign them up for a credit card, to store a credit card. And this credit card is based on interest. So I would like to know if this job is permissible, it's halal, or if it's not. And I'm really looking for a tangible answer. And I hope, inshallah, so you get me the right answer, inshallah.
Ya Rab. As you're talking, I'm asking Allah to help me to give you the right answer. I don't really envy you for the job that you have. You know.
Thank you, brother. But I really love you in the way of Allah, and I really appreciate and thank you for your hard work, and may Allah reward you for all your hard work, really.
Ameen, ameen. Barakallahu feek. Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you so much. Brother Yunus, the believer should distance himself from the fitna means. Fitna means temptations or trials. Should always remain on the safe side. Distance yourself. If you read the Quran, and Ramadan is coming, and I warn you, brothers and sisters, to read the Quran and reflect and ponder upon its meanings, you will benefit a great deal. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about haram, He orders to distance yourself from the haram. He uses the word فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ, avoid it. Don't go near it. Stay far away from it. He says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Do not go near zina. He does not say do not commit adultery. He said do not go near it. If one is working in the job and he has to compliment women, and as you said, you know, I won't blame them. This is their life. They were born and raised this way. Some Muslim families whom I know very well, and they were very good. Their girls grew up and they're sharing their pictures on their pages, on their Facebook pages and so on. As I see them, I say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. What a waste, what a loss. When the person is standing next to his daughter and she's half naked, because everybody's like that. He's got used to it. Allah gave him an opportunity to save himself, but he refused it. Allah gave him an opportunity to save his family, but he abandoned this opportunity. When you put yourself in this situation, and I heard you saying that they have to try the shoes and you assess them and so on, I would never take such job because I am weak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala filled paradise with trees and fruits, everything. He said to Adam and his wife, فَكُلَا مِنْهَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا. Eat as much as you want from any tree. وَلَا تَقْرَبَ هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةِ. But do not go near this tree. What happened? When they went near to it, they ended up eating from it. When you stay next to the fitna and the trial, what happens? Eventually, one day, you will be weak. You will melt in the melting pot. Please, may Allah find you a better job, a lawful job. As far as the credit card, I don't care about what kind of payment method that the buyer, the customer is using, because I'm not in charge for them. As long as he pays me, you know, if the job is lawful. We're talking about now if you're working in electronic store, if you're working in Best Buy, if you're working in whatever shop, and they make the purchase, you know, you're just swiping the card, no problem. But the problem is about or with the nature of the job itself. You know, I still remember a word which I shared with you repeatedly before that my shuyukh have taught me. The word is stemming from the Quran and the Sunnah, which says, "As-salamatu la ya'diluha shay." It is always best to be in the safe side. Do not ruin yourself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ridwan from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Ridwan.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Brother Ridwan. Barakallah feek.
Yes, I want to ask a question regarding this display of pictures in the house. I don't know that it extends to drawings as well. Drawings either of human beings or animals.
Okay, displaying the frames of pictures.
To that?
Okay, you're asking about...
clear.
Ridwan, can you hear me? You're asking about hanging pictures of human beings or animals against the wall at home, right?
Yes.
That's not permissible.
Exactly. Then secondly, I don't know that the rule extends to offices as well.
Nature is full of beauty.
Can we display pictures in our respective places of work, or is it limited to residences only?
I didn't get your second
question. I don't know that am I audible? Is my voice audible?
Can you repeat your second question, please?
I mean the rule regarding display of pictures in the residences.
I got this one and I answered you. Second question.
Hello?
Give your second question, please.
Yes, the second question is the rule regarding display of pictures in the residences. Does it extend to places of work as well? Like offices?
Okay, yes, it does apply to any house, whether it's a residence or an office. Barakallah feek, Brother Ridwan. I think we're missing some questions here. Now, Sister Fatima, I believe from United Arab Emirates, the children who die at the age of 14 or younger, and what if they die with a disease as a result of sickness? First of all, any child dies under the age of puberty, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam stated in the hadith that children under the age of puberty are not accounted. And the pen which records our actions would not record any bad deeds for them under the age of puberty. So if the child died under this age, inshallah, especially for Muslim parents, he's going to paradise. Second, if any person died with a disease, as you said, if this disease is like an abdomen disease or cancer, may Allah give shifa to all our brothers and sisters who are sick. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man mata bida'in fi batnihi fahuwa shaheed, wal mat'unu shaheed." One who dies with a plague for innocence is a shaheed as well. So if even he's an adult, if he's a grown-up person, and he received the bad news that he has this disease and he was suffering and he was patient and he was pleased with Allah's decision for him, he is a martyr or she is a martyr. Those who died with those who died under age of puberty, their parents were patient for them, or under or above the age of puberty, parents who lost their children, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reward them with a magnificent reward, not only the children, but also the parents who were patient for this crisis. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will order the angels to build a house for them, and He said, name it Bayt al-Hamd, the house of praise, because they praise Allah even in a calamity like this. They thanked Allah even in a crisis like that for losing a child. As far as the signs, the second question of puberty, we say there are physical and physiological signs. For instance, the girls, the menses, and the boys and the girls experiencing the wet dreams. It could be also by growing the groin or the pubic hair and the underarm hair, depending on the voice for the boy, those very famous signs. So that shows that the child have reached the age of puberty. And from that day, he will be accountable or she will be accountable as well. I think Brother Yunus' second question was about selling a store credit card, not paying with a credit card. Oh, well, as you know that the credit card which involves interest is not permissible. So if you participate in that or help people to apply for that, you're involved in something which is not permissible. Keep in mind that we repeatedly said before that people who have to have a credit card because they're living in the West, in America for instance, where they will not be able to rent a car, apply for a phone, or purchase a plane ticket or whatever without having a credit card, it's a necessity. So like maybe the household will have a credit card, okay, but make sure that you pay before the due date to avoid the penalty or what we call it interest. Brothers and sisters, I love you all for the sake of Allah from the bottom of my heart, and I pray for you. And inshallah, we need to talk in the next episode about preparing for Ramadan. It's just around the corner, so we need to remind each other with the plans. Have you planned yet? Inshallah, we will start talking about that from the next episode. Until then, brothers and sisters, I leave you in the care of Allah. Sister Muhammad from the KSA, before I finish, I don't want to leave any pending question. If you're traveling, the vast majority of the fuqaha said, if you're staying more than 4 days, then you should pray regular prayer. There is another opinion which says, as long as you are a musafir, okay, especially moving from one place to another. With regards to at-tarawih, you can always attend the tarawih in any masjid, even if you're a musafir. It is not, you're exempt from praying the voluntary sunan, whether emphatic or non-emphatic, before or after, if you are shortening the prayer, except the 2 sunnah before Fajr and the witr prayer. But the Taraweeh is an exception. So if you are by an Islamic center or wherever, attend it. If you don't have a chance, or you're not living nearby a masjid or an Islamic center, you can pray the Taraweeh on your own. And originally it is prescribed to be prayed in your place. You can pray it by yourself, you can pray it with your company, with your partner, or with your children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us what is best. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance.